Thursday morning. Sunlight sliced through the blinds like sharp knives, painting stripes across the dining room floor. I sipped my coffee, eyes darting toward the backyard, heart thudding with anticipation. Cold Modernism stood proud, encased in its golden frame, stainless steel gleaming in the morning sun. Birds chirped. Children's laughter echoed from the cold daysack. Peace, bliss, victory. Almost. Because Brenda was already on the move. I saw her first from the corner of my kitchen window. Power walk, clipboard, visor tilted at exactly 14 degrees, hair tied so tight it looked like a legal document. She stopped at my fence, squinting, murmuring something into a phone. I didn't need to hear it to know she was calling reinforcements the HOA's private security consultant, or maybe just another overpaid busybody with a clipboard. I knew this wouldn't be quiet. Sarah appeared beside me. Mark, what's your plan if she calls the cops? I smiled. Oh, they won't touch this. Art is untouchable. Modernism is untouchable. She can find me, send letters, but the fridge is now legally and conceptually untouchable. She shook her head, partly worried, partly impressed. You're insane. By 10 a.m., the first warning came. A police officer, young, bemused man with a badge too big for his chest, showed up at the gate. Sir, ma'am. HOA called us, he said, eyes flicking between the golden fridge frame and my incredulous face. Officer, I assure you, this is an art installation. It's stainless steel concept. Please, feel free to photograph it. I have a plaque and everything. He raised an eyebrow. Plaque? Exactly. Everything legal? Everything documented. Section 4, Article 8b of the HOA is circumvented by my artistic interpretation. He squinted. The sun reflected off the gold frame and hit his eyes. Okay, noted. And then he walked away, shaking his head. I heard him mutter something about suburban warfare. Sarah clutched my arm. Mark, they're not done. And she was right. By my mid-afternoon, Brenda arrived in full ceremonial fury, clipboard in hand, voice amplified by righteous indignation. Mr. Davis, you are in violation. This contraption is unacceptable. It must be removed immediately. I stepped onto the patio, cool, composed. Brenda, let me explain. This is cold modernism, my interpretation of contemporary suburban oppression and the 34-step tyranny. You are witnessing art. She blinked. Art. That is a refrigerator, Mr. Davis, with a plaque. Exactly. A refrigerator, with a plaque? A symbolic critique of authoritarianism in neighborhood governance. It challenges the notion of utility versus aesthetics. She frowned. Utility? Aesthetics? Nonsense. I knew I needed a bigger weapon. Something that would freeze her tyranny like the contents of my fridge. So I pulled out my trump card, the local news. I called Wendy at Channel 7. She was the kind of reporter who loved stories about middle-class rebellion, HOA absurdities, and outraged citizens finally taking a stand. By 3 p.m., cameras were rolling in my backyard. Drone footage, close-ups of the plaque, slow pan across the golden frame. Wendy asked the questions everyone was thinking. Mr. Davis, can you explain to our viewers why the HOA is fighting you over a refrigerator? I stepped forward, shoulders back, voice steady. This is not just a fridge. It's a statement. It's resistance against the mundane, the petty, the bureaucratic. The 34 steps represent oppression. This installation is freedom. Brenda's face turned a shade of red that could be classified as hazardous. This is ridiculous. It is not art. It is property violation. The cameraman zoomed in. I knew we had won the optics war. Viewers from Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and beyond would see this. Social media alerts were pinging. Hashtag Fridge vs HOA began trending locally. Brenda lunged toward me. I'm issuing fines. I will. I raised a hand. Please, proceed. The fines will only increase the conceptual value. This is performance art, Brenda. Every day you enforce this, the statement grows stronger. She froze. Anger, disbelief, frustration all colliding in one human form. Then she did something I did not expect. She called the HOA board to convene an emergency session. I welcomed it. Hours later, a caravan of beige SUVs, golf carts, and minivans rolled onto the cul-de-sac. The HOA board appeared in full force, clipboards out, petty indignation gleaming in their eyes. They measured, argued, whispered, huddled, and I filmed it all. Every muttered complaint, every finger pointing, every desperate plea to bend the rules. And then, the loophole emerged. Brenda, in her zeal to enforce Section 4, Article 8b, had overlooked one critical line in the HOA bylaws. No restrictions shall apply to bona fide art installations, defined as objects permanently affixed and publicly displayed for conceptual or aesthetic purposes. I had literally framed the fridge and bolted it to concrete. Publicly displayed, aesthetically decorated, and conceptually positioned. Check, check, and check. I handed a copy of the bylaw to the board. President silence, shock. The slow dawning realization on their faces was beautiful, sweet, exquisite, satisfying. You framed it as art, Brenda stammered. Technically, it's within the rules. Exactly, I said. Technically, conceptually, artistically, legally. By dusk, the board left, defeated. Muttering about creative interpretations and loopholes they would fix in the next meeting, I sipped a beer from Cold Modernism, feeling the sweet taste of victory. Sarah clapped, a mixture of pride and relief on her face. Neighbors peeked through curtains. Children waved, and a few bold teens even snapped photos for TikTok. I had not just defended my fridge, I had won a symbolic battle against every petty tyrant in the neighborhood. And Brenda, she retreated indoors, plotting her next move, probably drafting new rules in invisible ink, unaware that every attempt would now be countered by creativity, loopholes, and my unwavering determination. For now, though, the backyard was mine. The fridge hummed, the beer was cold, the 34 steps, irrelevant. I had turned oppression into art, bureaucracy into spectacle, and a simple desire for a cold beverage into a suburban legend. The first chapter of this rebellion was complete. But the war, oh, the war had just begun. Thirst is not a walk. It's a marathon. That's how my Tuesday started, or at least, how it should have started, if life weren't constantly conspiring to turn a simple backyard barbecue into a suburban battle royal. My name is Mark Davis. I'm a simple man. I like my steaks medium rare, my grass cut by someone else, and my beer cold. My backyard is my kingdom, a modest cookie-cutter slice of suburban heaven, in a neighborhood obsessed with beige conformity, but it's mine. I built the deck myself. Okay, mostly with help from a contractor named S, a grizzled craftsman whose hands have carved more decks than I've had hot dinners. I strung the Edison bulbs myself, arranged my patio furniture with the precision of a Tetris champion, and presided over a 7-burner stainless steel grill that probably had its own zip code. This was my sanctuary, my escape from spreadsheets, from TPS reports, from the suffocatingly detailed CCNRs of our neighborhood's homeowners association. For one perfect week, everything was bliss. Then came the problem, the 34 steps. You see, the behemoth, my grill, runs hot. When you're sweating over 7 burners under the Texas sun, your internal thermostat skyrockets. And when it hits redline, refreshment isn't optional, it's mandatory. But that fridge in the kitchen? 34 steps away. 34 torturous, cruel, sun-baked steps separating me from salvation. I'm doing it. I told Sarah one Tuesday morning. Doing what? She asked, barely glancing up from her laptop, eyes glued to our tax forms from April. Solving the 34-step problem, I said. Her interest flickered. Oh, how? I'm buying an outdoor fridge. Her expression transformed, a rare sparkle of curiosity breaking through the habitual haze of domestic accounting. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Not just an idea, a revelation. The Declaration of Independence and the invention of the wheel rolled into one stainless steel cube of pure convenience. 2 days later, it arrived. 4.5 cubic feet of frozen frosty freedom. I nestled it by the grill, hidden from the street by a 6-foot privacy fence and a mostly thriving ficus tree. I plugged it in. The gentle hum it produced was more beautiful than any symphony I'd ever heard. I stocked it carefully, a 6-pack of local IPC white wine for Sarah, sodas, and a strategic reserve of water. I waited, 2 hours of agonizing anticipation. Then, the sun was setting, the grill roaring, and I reached for the first cold beer. The hiss of the can opening was a triumph. The aluminum a balm to my desperate hands. I had achieved peak suburbia. I had conquered the 34 steps. My kingdom was complete, or so I thought. Enter Brenda. 3 doors down, president of the HOA, tyrant of the cul-de-sac, high priestess of petty bureaucracy, the woman who had found me for a welcome mat that was too Tuscan sunset and measured my grass with a ruler. Brenda was the reason inflatable Christmas decorations were banned. And while I celebrated, somewhere in her 2nd-story bathroom, binoculars trained, Brenda was plotting. 2 days of bliss passed. Then Thursday arrived. I walked out to collect the mail and saw it. A manila envelope taped aggressively to my freshly painted front door. My name, Mr. Davis, sprawled across the front in a looping cursive that could only belong to her. The adhesive was already leaving a sticky residual war crime in itself. Inside, a laminated sheet awaited. Official notice of violation, it read. Resident 1422 Willow Creek Drive, Crestwood Hills, HOA Architectural Review Committee. Violation. Outdoor appliance installed without approval. Action required. Remediate within 10 days. Fine. $50 daily. Escalating. I stood on the porch, the sticky tape on my fingers, the laminated sheet trembling in my hand. An appliance? I whispered. Sarah peered up from the kitchen island. Mark, it's a fridge. No, it's a beverage cooler, a symbol of human liberty, a triumph over suburban tyranny. I shouted, waving the sheet. She sighed. Just put a cover on it or something. That's probably a violation too. No, Sarah, this isn't just about the fridge. It's about justice. It's about the 34 steps. And it's about stubbornness. Also justice. I stormed outside, determined to confront her. Power walk patrol was at 9:15 a.m., and I knew her schedule. There she was, white visor glinting, clipboard in hand. Brenda, I called, attempting casual name about the appliance. Her eyes, cold and unyielding, met mine. Mark. Section 4, Article 8b. The rules are the rules. It's a fridge. It's sleek, Stainless? Enhances the patio experience. How does it hurt property values? She didn't blink. I saw it from my second-story bathroom, inspecting Mr. Henderson's chimney flashing, clearly visible over his unapproved Aaliyah bushes. I was dumbfounded. You spied on me. I was observing the community, she said, voice monotone, clipboard firmly against her chest. 10 days to remediate. Have a lovely day. She turned and power walked away. I was furious. My sanctuary had been invaded. My cold beer threatened. My liberty insulted. I went home to plot. The denial and bargaining stages lasted a few days. On day 3, I tried camouflage, fake ivy over the fridge. Predictably, day 5 brought another note. Exacerbated violation una proved flora. Section 4, Article 8b, remained intact. I tried practicality, a cedar box around the fridge, Saturday's labor. By Sunday morning, another note arrived. Unapproved attached structure. Fines were piling. My dining room became a war room. CCNRs spread out like tactical maps. Sarah begged me to move it inside. Never, I shouted. She's got us on a technicality. The problem isn't the fridge. It's the category. I will not negotiate with terrorists. Then inspiration struck. On TV, a banana duct taped to a wall sold for $120,000. Sarah, I said, eyes wide. It's genius. We're going conceptual. I explained my plan. The fridge wasn't an appliance, it was art, a found object, a ready-made installation. She stared. Then, slowly, a smile spread. Oh, Mark, oh yes, she said. I called S within an hour. He was in my backyard, sawdust swirling, ready to build a 4-foot by 3-foot ornate gold frame for my fridge, bolted into the concrete, crowned with museum-style plaque, Cold Modernism. 2025, Artist M. Davis, medium, stainless steel, Freon, and spite. A commentary on suburban conformity and human desire for refreshment. By the next day, our masterpiece was complete. I had recontextualized my fridge as art, an unassailable loophole in Brenda's petty tyranny. As I finished positioning the fridge in its golden frame, the neighborhood watched. Curiosity, disbelief, and gossipy fascination radiated from behind curtains and text chains. It was the calm before the storm. The first act of a revolution that would soon turn our cul-de-sac into a rogue gallery of tactical defiance.